up, everybody? Well, I have decided to try to get some actual footage on this G15 Advantage for this Assassin's Creed Shadows game. Now, last night, I was playing, and I ran around my frickin' home little, what do you call it, base for like 30-40 minutes, it felt like, without a crash. So, I think I got it after a bunch of DDUing and whatnot, but the only difference is we're gonna try to use OBS. So maybe OBS, if it starts crashing instantly, I'm blaming OBS and I'm just gonna go all camera recorded. That's my pretty much plan. But the only way to find out is to hop on in. So we'll start off at 1080p. I know we're on the external monitor, but that's the only way I can actually get it to go full screen. On the Alienware and on this, it wants to be a tiny little window about that big. And it doesn't matter how many times you try using Alt-Enter trick, it does not work. All that does is make it go windowed and then borderless back to the same tiny little window it was at. So that does not work either. This is the only way you can full screen this game is if you have an external monitor. So that's another reason I kind of was about to not really care about making the laptop videos so good, but some people do use this as a desktop replacement still and have an external monitor. So for those people, you should be okay. For those other people, I don't know what the heck you can do to play if you don't have an external monitor. That one is kind of still up in the air. But in any case, I'm gonna shut up and let's go ahead and let's get into the game. Well, all right, guys, here's the settings we're gonna try first. 1080p, we're gonna do native first, and we're gonna try on a high. Now we're in the hideout, so there's no point in me trying to turn ray tracing off. It can't be done. But it's also supposed to be the hardest to run spot, so I figured, well, this is a great spot to test then. And of course, you could just turn down the ray tracing quality, I guess, and get a couple extra FPS, but we're just going to deal with the standard settings here. Anyway, though, why don't we hop on in? All right, here we are in the game. Not getting great frame times or FPS, but hey, it didn't crash the whole time I played, so that's at least a plus. All right, we're done. I was getting bombarded by frickin' messages earlier. Not even messages, just a bunch of fake emails, my phone vibrating like crazy. So I was just like, nope, enough. I just turned it completely off, but figured probably should at least put it to vibrate in case somebody calls. But don't want to turn it all the way off because then it'll make noises. Although I don't think this mic would really pick up on those noises. Yeah, I figured you guys would be like, what is he muttering? What's done? Figured I'd just explain. But yeah. We're getting playable FPS to some people. Me, I like my 60 plus, but it's hard to get that in these newer games unless you make some sacrifices. But glad this thing has a lot of VRAM. This game seems to like the VRAM quite a bit. We're only at 1080p and we're already at almost 7 gigs of VRAM. They're only on high though. See, that's kind of where the problem lies. If you try to make use of all the VRAM, then you're just going to get like 10 FPS. So, still, I'd rather have it than not. There's plenty of games I would have not been able to play that needed over 8, even at 1080p, so I'm still happy with what they did. Though I really wish they would have given it a slightly better processor. This thing kind of holds back the 7800 XT. It says it's 6800M, but it's really a 68 or a 6700 XT. Just all power limited and fit in a laptop. Now I wish they could have just called it that and just slapped an M on the end, although that was probably taken by something else. Now we'll see how it does with a little FSR help. We're just gonna do quality. I don't generally like going under quality if I have to use FSR, but sometimes I gotta use balanced, but not in this video. I think I had to do that in 1440p just to get close to 60. Any case though, let's get back into that game. All right, so now we got FSR on, and now we're getting a little closer to 60, but still can't quite do it. All right, moving on. All right, so now we're gonna drop it down to medium, and we're gonna do native first. See if we can get a little bit better FPS. Unfortunately, this thing's getting a little old, so you gotta kind of drop it down to medium and low sometimes. But anyway, let's go see how it does. Well, all right, here we are. It seems like some places can get 60, but most of the time more like 50. And still have those weird spiky frame times, which are no fun. All right, why don't we go ahead and turn on a little FSR now? All right, so now we're gonna turn on a little FSR on the quality and still have the same medium settings. And I think we can mostly get 60 plus now. Still some drops here and there, but you mostly get 60. But all right, let's go see. All right, now here we go. We got some FSR on quality now, medium settings. Still has some drops under 60 here and there, but for the most part, it's a 60 plus experience. I was worried we weren't going to be able to get one of those on this thing. All right, let's get some camera recording gameplay so we don't have anything interrupting its performance now. pretty sure as long as you're not recording, at least in this area, you seem to stay over 60. Barely. So there's probably some spots, no, there's still some spots where you can't. But that means there's definitely some spots in the game where you probably will drop down into the high 50s too. But for the most part, I think you'll be more in the high 60s to 70s. And I believe, I could be wrong, but I've been told this hideout is the hardest place to run in the game. So, I don't know if that's true, people just talking shit, but that's why I've stuck here. The only thing that sucks is you can't turn ray tracing off while you're here. Even if you do, you can say diffuse hideout, but you're still in the hideout, so you're still diffusing the hideout. That's why I haven't bothered turning no ray tracing off, because you can't really. I could lower the graphics quality of the ray tracing, but I can't turn it off. But this still looks alright. Usually at 1080p, FSR just makes these games look like trash. Maybe it's because I'm still on a bigger monitor, I'm not sure. Or external, not a bigger. I think it's the same damn, it's 15.6 inch. It's the same size as the damn laptop screen. It's not any bigger. And we're only at 1080p, so we're not even using the 1440p resolution.
I could practice Kujikiri here.
You could, but I'm not about to attempt that again. I embarrassed the shit last time I tried that. You gotta remember what the heck you're doing. It takes away the thing on the screen, and then it's all you. And that was never my forte. So, I ended up having to just quit out of it, restart the whole frickin' mission. And I was like, oh, that's lame. Yeah, this game definitely makes the GPU work. We're sitting at 2.4 gigahertz. Usually this thing's at like 2.1, 2.2. But it's trying as hard as it can. And after we're done with this, I'm going to go try 1440p out too. Although that one is probably not going to be quite so easy to get playable FPS. See, this one still drops down to the 50s here and there. I wanted to come back to this area because this place was dropping frames last time I came through. Yeah, 58. Not the end of the world. But still, wished it could be a little better. But the fact that I can get like 70 FPS most of the time is much cooler. So I'm alright with that. It's like, it seems to be the foliage mixed with the ray tracing. I think that's what it is personally. But so far so good. I haven't had any more crashes since I figured to fiddle with it all night. I had to reinstall the drivers like 3 or 4 times, and no matter what I do, I cannot get it to stop telling me that my drivers are outdated at the beginning of the game now. I don't know what the hell's up with that, but I cannot stop that. No matter what it says, nope, unsupported, even though I've gone the newest drivers, the ones literally designed for the game. So I just don't know what it's up this butt for that, but at least it stopped crashing, so at least so far. Still might on camera, but if it does, you'll see it. I think it was just a bad driver install. Oh, and good news, I was finally able to get an Astro 5090. So I'm pretty excited about that. Just as long as I don't get it from Amazon and it's a box of rocks or something. At least with Amazon, I'm pretty sure I can be like, hey, I didn't order a box of rocks. I ordered a stupidly overpriced $3,300 GPU. Although with tax, I think it was like $2,000 or $3,500 or something like that. I can't remember. Michigan, 6% sales tax, so just add 6% to whatever the freaking thing is, and that's what I gotta pay. Anyway, though, I would say that is probably more than good for camera recorded gameplay. So, let's go wrap this video on up. Well, alright guys, that's our wrap for Assassin's Creed Shadows at 1080p, and we actually got through this time. No crashes, not a single one. So I think we got it fixed, unless it's gonna start doing it at 1440. I mean, the whole time I messed around with it last night when I was only at 1080p. But this thing should have enough VRAM. I don't think VRAM is a problem. I think the thing's just not powerful enough. If it could barely handle 1080p and it still needed FSR's help and medium graphics settings, 1440p is probably gonna be a shit show. Probably be like a 30-40 FPS experience no matter what we do. Maybe we can get into the 50s, but hey, time will tell. Maybe it'll surprise me. But in any case, that's all I got for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And I'm glad I didn't just give up and not get good footage on this thing. So, until the next video, peace out, guys.